Hey everyone, Lyle here from West Tennessee Gold and Silver Exchange, and today I have a nice little collection of coins to look through. What's going on, everyone? My name is Lyle, and I own West Tennessee Gold and Silver Exchange here in Savannah, Tennessee. And I do a lot of videos of all of the cool collections that come into the store, some unboxing videos of stuff that I get from the suppliers, and a lot of other coin-related content. So if you like that kind of stuff, make sure you like, subscribe, so you can stay up to date on all of the wonderful coin collections that come into the store. And on today's episode, I actually have that little collection that I'm going to look through from that bumper that you just saw. And this is actually 3 separate collections that I kind of put together all into one just to make the video have a little bit more substance, because I don't think you want to look at just one silver round. So I kind of put things together to show you guys what comes in. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring it on over. Here is the tray of all of the stuff that has come in. Got some really cool things in here that I'm going to show you in just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sort all of this stuff. I will be right back in a few seconds. You will not even notice it, but I'm going to sort it and we will look through it. Be right back. All right, we got everything sorted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start picking up stuff. I'm going to move it over to a different tray as soon as we're done looking at it to kind of keep the area clean. And I got all these indents here from all of these cool coins. So hopefully that goes away. For right now, let's go ahead and start with stuff that is more or less face value. So we'll start there. I got these dollars right here. I believe these are all Susan B. Anthony dollars. Some people say that they are worth more than just $1. I have not been able to find a single soul to give me more than face value for these guys. So for that reason, I actually just pay face value for this stuff. They bring in the Susan B. Anthony's. I'll give them $1, and then I will just take it to the bank when I have enough of them. I do the same thing with the Sacagawea dollars, the presidential dollars. Everyone always tells me why I don't look for the Cheerio dollar, and mostly because it's like 1 in a billion that I would find one in regular change. So no point in looking. So it all just goes into the face value bin and off it go. Same thing with all of these right here, but it looks like we actually have a silver that is actually does not belong. These right here are all Eisenhower dollars. And again, I pay face value for this stuff, mostly because I have not been able to find a single person that would give me more than face value for this stuff. So if you are that person, let me know what you offer. I have more than $100 of Eisenhowers sitting in the back. They're not silver. They are just your regular clad Ike dollars. And if you collect these for whatever reason, let me know. Make me an offer. Hopefully it's more than just face value, so I can at least make a little bit of a profit on this stuff. And if I find a regular buyer, I can definitely pay more for this stuff. But until then, I will hold on to all of these guys. And if push comes to shove and I need the cash, I'll just take it to the bank and have them give me $1 for them. So no harm, no foul. Next up, we got these half dollars. And first thing I do when I get a nice collection is that I'll just gather it all up. I'll look at the rim just to see if I can see copper. All of these you can clearly see that there's copper. They are not silver. If it was silver, it would look more or less like this on the edge. You can, if you'll focus, you can clearly see there is a difference right there. Well, this one is full silver. These guys all have copper. So these are just regular face value 50-cent pieces. All of them are Kennedy's, no silver. More face value stuff right over there. And we have this nice little chunk of coins, change. We got some nickels here. And we got some dimes. We got a quarter. This quarter is, in fact, silver. It's the first silver that we've gotten out of the pile so far. It's a 1943. Not the best state in the world, but it is still a 1943 quarter. 90% silver. Here it is. Now let's look at these dimes. Again, just looking at the edge on all of them. These two are silver, I can tell. And these all have copper in there. So these are all just regular face value stuff. All Roosevelt dimes, face value right here. They will go into my face value jar. These right here, we got a Rosie, a 1947 Rosie, nice for the junk silver bin, and a 1943 Mercury, not a very good date, but still a Mercury dime. Condition is not terrible. It's not terrible at all. So that goes with the junk silver pile. And these right here are all nickels. Usually the fastest thing to see if they're war nickels is just turn them all to the reverse. Look above the Monticello. If there is no mint mark, they are just regular face value stuff. Here they are, just a few nickels, face value. Gonna go in the face value jar of stuff that I will just take to the bank when I get enough. Next up, we have all of these dimes right here, or these dimes, all of these pennies that most of them will be copper. So let me just flip them all over and see what we got. Look at this 1979, 1 cent. Looks to be in pretty good shape. So definitely be one that somebody wants to put in their collection. But if they're putting together an album, but for me, I have many of these, and they all just go into a gallon. I am one of those penny hoarders that I hoard the copper pennies. And here's a one from 69, a 69D. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for any Wheaties that I can see. There's a Wheatie right there. Obvious one is the 1943 steel. And here's a few more Wheaties that I'm picking out just by looking at the dates. You can look at the reverse. If they're wheat cents, then of course you'll see the wheat stocks on the reverse. If they are not, you will just see the Lincoln Memorial. And see, 1 cent, 1 cent. So not many wheat cents. So these all look to be copper. And on copper, what you want to look for is they need to be minted before 1981. And I know 1982, there are some that were minted in copper. And one thing about that is some of them were copper, some of them were zinc, some of them were big letters or numbers, some of them were little numbers. It gets very confusing at times. So in order for me to just dig through these really quickly, I only go up to 81. That way I don't have to sit there and try to weigh them to make sure that they are copper pennies. I just go ahead and do that. So these are all copper pennies. This will end up going to my gallon of copper pennies. And some people ask me why I put it in a gallon. It's because gallons are easy to grab. And a gallon of pennies is easy to manage, easy to lift than it is to grab like a 5-gallon bucket of pennies. So easier to transport. Of course, it takes up a little bit more room because they're gallons, but be that as it may, I do it in gallons. You can do it however you want when they become yours. So let's check out these Wheaties here. See what we got. Obviously, this is a 1943 steel. You can see there's a little bit of rust on it. That will go into the wheat pennies. And here we have a 35. Not really a good year, but still a 35 Wheatie. A 46 Wheatie, which anything in the 50s, 40s, extremely common unless you can get one of the copper pennies, the 1943 copper or the 1944 steel. Those would be really good finds, but almost positive they're all accounted for. And here's a 1944 copper and a 1956 wheat cent. So nothing special there. That will all go into the wheat cent bin. Now let's do something a little different. Here is a Buffalo 1 ounce round, generic 1 ounce round. I see these day in and day out. 1 ounce fine silver Buffalo round. I see them all the time, but still cool to look at. Still really fun to hold and know that this right here is real money. And all of the other stuff is not real money, but very nice. Put that right over there. Up next, let's go ahead and move on to here are some peace dollars that were in that collection. This is a 1926 common year for the peace dollar. And of course, probably the one of the better ones is the 21 that I've actually had a few 21s come in. The high relief year. I've had a few of those come in. Here's a 1922. This one actually looks pretty familiar. I think I've had some that have like this glue on it or maybe some tape. Not sure. My phone's ringing. I'll turn that off. This one's really shiny, but it looks like it has been cleaned. And a 1922 is a common year unless it's a 1922 high relief, which those are going to be really hard to come by because I don't think there's many, maybe 5 or so. I don't know. 1923, another common peace dollar right here. All of these guys are pretty worn, not the best shape. Here is a 1922 peace dollar. This one looks like it has a really thick edge. Look at that. Looks pretty thick compared to this one. This one looks like it's worn. This one looks like it's got a really good edge around it. 1922. It actually kind of feels heavy. All right, we'll look at this 23 and then we'll weigh that 22. This is a 1923. Common year. It's got some gunk on it. It doesn't come off. I'd have to either scrape it off, but still cool. These guys just floating around in people's collections. Just sitting there. Here's my scale. Now, peace dollar should weigh 26 grams. Let's weigh this 1923. No, I'm in ounces. So a peace dollar should weigh 26.7 grams. This right here says it's 26.6. That's within its realm. That's where it needs to be. Now let's check this one with a really thick rim on it. And this one weighs 26.8. So they weigh the same. Nothing really special. Really cool if it weighed more. That way it might be a high relief. But it is not. It is a 1922 regular peace dollar. All right, before I move on to the Morgans, let's do something different. Check this out right here, guys. This is a 2.5 gram gold bar of 4 nines gold. This is a really cool looking little bar. It's got a little bit of red toning on it. It is not in one of those PAMP cards. This was just loose, how it was sold to me. This is from Switzerland. 2.5 grams, Switzerland gold, right here. Nice little gold bar. We'll throw this into the display, and I'll be back. All right, guys, here we go. Attempt number 3. I've been trying to finish recording this video for a few days now, and every time I sit down to get started, something happens and I have to stop. First go through it, a lady came in with a lot of scrap gold that she needed me to go through, so that took up the rest of the day. And then I sat down the next day to do it, and then another guy comes in with a big box of stuff. So yeah, it's been busy here. So I'm back. I'm gonna finish off this video. I showed you all of the, I showed you the gold. I showed you the ounce. Pretty sure I showed you the peace dollar. So what's left is I'm gonna show you this nice stack of Morgan silver dollars right here that came in, plus a special coin that has not been in yet that I will show you after these Morgans. Right here, this is a 1921 Morgan silver dollar. Probably the most common Morgan that I see is the 21 of all of the mints. Speaking of most common, here's another 21. 1921. And this one is a really tiny D. And because it took me a few days to do this, I actually now have my microscope up. So let's get the microscope up. There we go. And let's check it out. How does that look, guys? Look at that really tiny D. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this microscope, guys. So up next is a 1900 Morgan dollar. Looks like somebody etched a little bit over here. Very common. I see that type of stuff all the time on these guys. Oop. These are really good for stacking purposes. If we ever get into a barter system, these Morgans would be pretty good. They're 90% silver. It's another 1921. This one's an S. Another 1921. Told you, 21 is probably the most common Morgan out there. I see it quite often. And here's another 21 with some black stuff on it. It's crazy where these coins have been through the last hundreds of years. And oh, look at that. A 1978, one of the very first Morgans out there. This one kind of has like a slick feel to it. It reminds me of at the flea market here, there was a guy that had a belt buckle and it had a Morgan in it. And I felt the Morgan and it felt like a poker chip. And this one kind of feels like a plastic poker chip as well. So maybe this was at one point in a belt buckle. I don't know what causes that though. It's like it feels, it is metal, but it kind of feels like a poker chip. It sounds like silver. So I'm sure it is. I mean, I can test it, but the Sigma's way over there and I gotta finish this video. But it's real. 1978S. Another 21 Morgan. This one's got some more scratches right there. One more 21 Morgan. This one's got some damage. It almost kind of looks like rust. But it still has pretty good detail. Last but not least is this 1884 Morgan right here. 1884 Philadelphia. $1. All right, so that is all of the Morgan silver dollars that were in that lot. Now, for a very special coin, a coin that I have not gotten in before. I've gotten the type before, but never one of these. Here we go, guys. This is a silver 3-cent piece from 1861, and look at that detail. I'll get it under the microscope in a second, but look at the detail, guys. It's in really good shape. Look at all those stars. Let's get it under the microscope. And look at that, guys. Still has really good detail in the center. 1961 is extremely clear. Just a little ding, it looks like right above the S in states. Nice looking coin. Here's the reverse. Look at all those stars. These are in really good shape, guys. Just a little ding right up top. This is a really nice one. Good example of a silver 3-cent piece from 1861. Really nice, guys. Haven't had one of these before, so I'm extremely happy that I got one in. And it's just one of those, another one of those coins that I get to check off my list of stuff that needs to come in, which is getting smaller and smaller as the months go by. But here is all of the stuff that we looked at. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I will see you guys next time. Until then, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you then. Have a good day.